Hello everybody, welcome to Paris. It's preview time for the Qatar Prix de l'Arc de Triomphe, the best race of the year in France. It's a packed programme, a packed race as well. So much so that some of the major contenders have been torpedoed even before they get down to the start and race day for the big contest. Katherine Ford is with me. It's been an interesting arc and we haven't even got there yet.
Absolutely, we weren't expecting that, but the official limit is 20. France Gallo have stuck to that, so 3 horses have been balloted out. Their handicap ratings that weren't high enough and very elegant. The star Australian mare wasn't supplemented in the end. She'll be running on Saturday's card at Paris-Longchamp in a fillies race over an extended distance, but we have 20 of them, Ian, in the lineup.
We do. 15 of them are already Group 1 winners. Between them, they've won almost 45 million euros. Let's take a check on the 20, and I'll highlight a few of them that we won't even have time to have a closer look at, including last year's 5th in the race, Sealaway, a Group 1 winner on the card a couple of years ago. There's Broome, and a very good, consistent horse from Aidan O'Brien, one of the Japanese raiders, which is Stay Foolish. And further on down, Grand Glory, one of only 2 mares in the lineup, and we walk all the way down to number 20, Luxembourg. And as we speak to you, it looks as if he will go off favourite. He's one of the 3-year-olds, and he has an outstanding piece of form from his most recent item, which we're going to show you now. Outstanding as well because so many of his rivals in the Arc de Triomphe ran in this race. It was the Irish Champion Stakes, over 2,000 metres run at Leopardstown just a few weeks ago, and he is the winner from Ernesto, Verdeni, Mishriff, Broome. They're all in the lineup, Katherine.
Yeah, absolutely. Here they all are. And Luxembourg, a really good performance from him. He has a slightly high head carriage, but he always races like that, and he has a real ding-dong battle with Ernesto, and Luxembourg coming out the better under Ryan Moore, of course. And Luxembourg had been off for much of the season, following on from his 3rd place in the Guineas, which was actually a pretty decent performance. He stumbled just after the start, and he'd come back and he's won his 3-year-old Group 1 there, so a logical favourite for the race.
He is, and he comes into the race, of course, trained by a man who's had 2 winners of this great race already in his career, so he's an obvious man to talk to. Here's Aidan O'Brien on his views on the Qatar Prix de l'Arc de Triomphe.
The Arc is an unbelievable race. It's the pure test of the middle distance 3-year-old and a horse in Europe, if not the world. We are always hoping that we have a horse good enough to compete, and then really only the special ones win it. I suppose he cruises very well, he relaxes and he quickens, he's very tough, and he fights, you know, so he has all the attributes of a very top-class, high-class colt, really. Obviously his work regime was very brutal and tough between the Curragh and Leopardstown, which it had to be to win that type of race, and in all fairness to him, only the very good horses take it, and he took it with a smile on his face.
Fascinating analysis there from Aidan O'Brien, talking about how Luxembourg took his a very tough training regime to get ready for the Leopardstown Irish Champion Stakes and his autumn campaign. I spoke to some of the connections of Ballydoyle at Paris-Longchamp a couple of weeks ago, and they were saying that they think he'll come on again from that performance. He's got a good draw in stall 8, a lot to like about him.
So that is the one who's likely to be favourite. The shortest priced UK trained one is going to be a grey mare, 5-year-old mare called Alpinista. She has won her last 7 races. The last 5 have all been Group 1 contests, and she's trained by one of the UK's legendary trainers. So Mark Prescott tells us about his 5-year-old mare.
Each race she's run better. Now she'll need to run better still. So have we reached the ceiling, or can she go once again? You know, her great gift is she's straightforward. Mathematically, I think if I was a form student looking at the race, I think that she probably has the best chance, because as those trials showed at Longchamp, nearly all of them had been beaten by her at one time or another. So, you know, it's a question of whether she's on best form, whether it all goes right, and how much some of those beastly French trainers can improve those horses, which they do for the Arc, you know, a million things. But I think she's got on mathematically a marvellous chance.
For our international viewers who are not familiar with Sir Mark Prescott, he loves to prepare a target, and he's been preparing this Qatar Prix de l'Arc de Triomphe for Alpinista for more than 12 months, 13 months, 14 months. I was there at Newmarket last week to interview him, and this is a huge target for the mare. I think he's got her on top for the race, and she'll be the one that I like, coming out of stall number 6. So that's a good draw for her too.
Very solid performer, this mare from the UK, who has beaten the two major German rivals in the race, Torquedo Tasso and also Mendocino in the past. Well, let's move on to last year's shock winner of the race, Torquedo Tasso. He won at around about 72 to 1, so it was fair to say that he wasn't particularly well fancied. He is this year, he's likely to go off third choice in the betting market after some very good performances. There will be a change in rider, though. René Picheluk, who's the rider 12 months ago, has to ride Mendocino. So, Frankie Latori, you can get no better man, is on board Torquedo Tasso. Here he sums up his chances.
I rode Torquedo Tasso this morning in his last gallop before the Arc. Obviously, weather condition, rain last night, so good for him. He's in good form after I rode him in Baden-Baden, and fingers crossed, he's the champion from last year, but I'm very happy with him. When I rode him in Baden-Baden, there was only 4 runners, the slow pace, what he doesn't like. This year, Arc with the open Arc with 20 runners, sure, strong pace, the rain is coming, and it'd be a horse with a great chance in the race.
Frankie Latori, who travelled over to Germany to ride that piece of work earlier this week, and getting more and more familiar with this Torquedo Tasso, but he will have to contend in with a stall number 18, so wide draw. He'll be hoping for rain as well.
By the looks of things, he will be getting rain, I think it's fair to say as well. So we know course and distance, we know he's got the ability, and the ground is likely to come for him as well. And it looks if he likes a very strong searching gallop. 19 rivals, I think he'll probably get that. Now, that was a German trained winner 12 months ago. The world has been waiting, well, certainly Japan has been waiting for a Japanese trained winner as well. We're going to have a look at one of their major contenders, the most likely we think that that will trouble the judge. This is a horse called Title Holder. As ever, Catherine, with these Japanese trained horses, a lot of the time they run on much faster ground to what they're going to get in Paris in the autumn. So will he handle the ground?
Well, that is a big question. The Japanese race courses have a very different draining system to what we have here, and the ground is also different. So even if it's officially soft, it's very different to the stickiness that they can find at Paris-Longchamp. Title Holder is a 3-time Group 1 title holder, because the trainer did explain to us last week that this is why he's called that. He's a horse that goes out in front, and here he is winning the Takarazuka Kinnan over 2,200 metres. He broke the course record that day, and just losing third place is Deep Bond, who will reoppose. And it was a good performance as well, because there was a 3-time Group 1 winner, Daring Tact, who was just running on there into third place. So he's been a really high-class horse. He won the Japanese St. Leger last year. He's been in Chantilly for a couple of weeks now. They've changed the tactics. They've decided not to run a prep run, so he's been training on the turf tracks around Chantilly to try and get used to the French style going. It's a big ask. It would be great to see the Japanese win. They've had nearly 30 tries in the race so far. He looks to be the best on paper this year, so good luck to him.
And in that race you saw there, he did have a couple of his rivals on Sunday in the Arc behind him. Deep Bond, who's last in last year's Arc, and also Stay Foolish were back in 4th and 9th places there. Now to a home-trained runner called Vedeni, who is already the winner of the Prix du Jockey Club, the French Derby, in very good style. We're going to show him, though, against one of his rivals on the weekend, which is Mishrif, when they met over 2,000 metres in the United Kingdom at Sandown in the Eclipse Stakes. There, and Vedeni pulled towards the outside, green jacket comes through, and this is where he wins. Yeah, absolutely. It was a great performance. The French hadn't won this race for several decades. It was quite a bold move to go there with a 3-year-old, and Vedeni delivered in good style. Mishrif could be considered a little bit unlucky, took a little bit of time to get the daylight, and he was finishing strongly, but Vedeni, a really high-class colt, trained by Jean-Claude Rouget for the colours, of course, of His Highness the Aga Khan, and the Aga Khan studs celebrating their centenary this year, so wouldn't it be fantastic for them to have an Arc winner in this year of 2022? And they could well do so. The man who's going to be on board is Christophe Soumon, the retained jockey for the Aga Khan. We caught up with him and asked him about his chances on this Group 1 winning 3-year-old.
In these races, you want to ride the best horse. And I think I'm fortunate to be on one of the best. For sure, last time we didn't see the real Vedeni, the Jockey Club winner and the Eclipse winner, but I'm confident the horse is in top form, and I trust him for the big race on Sunday. He's evolved a lot since the beginning of the season. He's faster, and at work he's very serious and generous. The only question mark with him is the distance, but the fact that he's raced over 2,000 metres at Sandown and 2,000 on soft ground at Leopardstown the other day gives me the impression that if he's relaxed during the race, he's capable of going all the way.
Christophe Soumillon voiced over there with the Australian accent, so interviewed in French there by our Equidia colleagues. But if he does stay the distance, he will be a leading contender. He's by Churchill, but there's quite a lot of stamina on the dam side. It's a real question mark, but Christophe Soumillon will be aiming for another win in the Arc. He's won it twice before for these colours, Dalakani and Zarkava.
So we saw Vardeni there winning. We'd also seen him being third behind Luxembourg in the Irish Champion Stakes, where between the two was Ernesto, and we're going to see him on the Arc course and distance now with his victory 2 starts ago. Katherine, his only run at a mile and a half, 2,400 metres, winning the Grand Prix de Paris.
Yeah, absolutely, and this was a very, very good performance. He's by Frankel, and he enjoyed the fastish ground on this day, but this form has worked out well because he beat Sim Camille, who won the Prix Niel, one of the official Arc trials. Sim Camille not in the Arc, and also behind him is El Bodegon and also Eldar Eldarov, who maybe didn't win his race that day, but he's gone on to win the St. Leger. So this is a really classy performance from Ernesto. Connection's a little bit concerned if it does rain too much. He's always been stated to be a horse that likes pretty fastish ground, but he's got the course and distance form, which is often worth a lot.
And one more we'll have a look at, which is Westover, another raider from the United Kingdom. Horse who had a bad trip in the Derby at Epsom. A very good trip in the race we're going to show you, which was the Derby at the Curragh, because he is a runaway winner of this. Wins by 7 lengths. The question mark, though, Katherine, has to be the fact that he then got well beat, but very shortly afterwards at Ascot when he was too keen early on.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Ralph Beckett, the trainer, said you can maybe put a line through that so you can explain this disappointing performance in the King George by the fact that he got set alight. He couldn't relax in the race. This is a very good performance, and it was also a very good performance on his previous race when he was coming back after a few months' absence to finish an eye-catching 3rd in the Epsom Derby. So on his best form, he would have a leading chance. Westover, who was going to try and follow in the similar footsteps to Workforce, who also won this race following a disappointing performance at Ascot in the summer.
OK, that is a brief look through at the 20 of them that stand their ground. As we speak to you, it's soft ground at Paris-Longchamp, but it is due to rain a lot here between when we're speaking to you and when they come out of those starting stalls. It is selection time. Katherine.
Well, you'd have guessed that I like Alpinista a lot. If Sir Mark Prescott says mathematically, I think she's got the best chance, that's good enough for me. So I'm going for Alpinista. If you're looking for a bigger price for an each-way bet, Al Hakim by Siuni, as was Sotsas, who won the Arc for the Jean-Claude Rouget stable a couple of years ago. And connections have been making favourable comparisons between the two, so he could go well at a good price.
And for me, well, I'm going to go for big prices. It looks an open race this year. You look at the field, you could think any one of these could win this. So we need to go for bigger prices. To win, I'm going to go for Ernesto and hope that Catherine's weather forecast isn't quite correct. And he follows up with his course and distance victory back in July. And at a big price, a mare who does like the track will run OK on extremely soft ground and has got good Group 1 form to her name. At a massive price, Grand Glory. If you need exotic bets or maybe one just at a big price to come second or third, I think she could be the one. Katherine, thank you very much. We will see you, hopefully, joining us live. Paris-Longchamp, 9 races on Sunday afternoon, maybe in where you are Sunday morning or Sunday evening. Hope you can join us. Have a good weekend and very best of luck finding the winner of the Qatar Prix de l'Arc de Triomphe.